Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars podcast talking about games and such. This week we are going to be talking, we're going to talk lore, we're going to talk villains, our favorite villains, and we're going to kind of break it down into independent categories and see where this takes us. We're going to see if it's a one-parter, two-parter. We'll see, because you know what? Next week's AdeptiCon, by the time this comes out, we will actually already be in Milwaukee setting up, or at least getting ready to set up for the stream at AdeptiCon. So that'll be pretty exciting. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and jump on into it. Aubrey, how are you today?
Let's see. I had a very long week at work. I didn't sleep well last night. I kind of want to just crawl back into bed this morning. How are you, Todd?
I had a pretty long week at work. I'm not going to get into it because there was a lot of personal stuff that happened for individuals that was kind of draining on me. You know the story, but yeah, it was a week for sure for me. But yeah, I overall pretty good. My wife is so backstory. You know, my kids do gymnastics and club track, and everyone's heard all of that stuff, and cheerleading and everything. So my wife works for a Bristol organization, volunteers that goes to different venues, concerts, sports, and stuff like that, and works doing the concessions and gets funding for it. Well, they've been shorthanded, and she tapped me to do it last night, and I'm flipping exhausted from selling concessions at Percifer concert. I've never even heard of this band. Apparently it's the former lead singer of Perfect Circle and Tool formed a new band, and there was some it felt like it was a hard rock sound with very soft lyrics, and there was a lot of goth rockers at this concert venue. So it was a really interesting venue to sit there and work at. But yeah, so that's what I did last night. So I'm kind of tired myself, not from working. We didn't get home until almost midnight from working that. So good times.
Yeah. I should talk about positive stuff. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm very tired. I was out late because we went and saw Project Hail Mary, which if you're looking for a good sci-fi movie, I do recommend that. It's very good. I'm gonna have to read an Andy Weir book now. He's the one who did The Martian. If you remember the Martian. So this one was about basically alien amoebas are eating the sun, and they got to solve the problem. Yeah, it was without spoilers. That's the plot, and it involves somebody traveling to Tau Ceta because they start analyzing all the stars around them, and they're like, oh, these things are eating every star in the whole region, and they're like, but there's one star that's not getting eaten. What's going on? So they actually send a manned mission, off to another star with everything that entails. So that was really good. Went with Talia and the family. She was very excited because she read the book. So she was telling me all about the book afterwards. And I was like, wait, if you want me to read the book, you can't spoil the whole, I already saw the movie, so I know the plot. I'm like, if you tell me every way the movie and the book was different, I'm not gonna read the book. But that's just how excited she was. So she was very excited about that.
You're going to read the book. It was Mr. Rogers. Don't lie.
Well, yes, probably, but I have an unread reading list that I'm gonna die with, Todd.
Fair enough.
And then the other thing is it's Mr. Rogers' birthday this week, so our library's had a big initiative. So I did story time this week, all dressed up like Mr. Rogers with my cardigan and tie. And don't worry, I didn't take my shoes off. That would have been uncomfortable for everyone. And then
and stinky.
And then I did a program yesterday. That was more arts and crafts and stuff that were all Mr. Rogers and Daniel Tiger themed. Nice. So, so I had a couple of highlights. I just say it's funny, Todd, when you and I have difficulties at work, your difficulties always seem to outshine mine, and I'm like, Todd, stop! You're stressing me out vicariously. I don't want to vicariously be stressed out through you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I work for the federal government. I'm the big time. You're just a local state guy. So it's fun. It's just scaling. A city lurker. Yes, it's.
Yeah, I'm not even city.
Yeah, you're right. So it's like it just compounds as you get higher up the food chain, I guess.
Apparently.
But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm excited for a week off of work and where I can just go and be a nerd and see all of the cool people that we know from Shatterpoint. Like I'm excited to see the Rogue Support guys and the Rarely Reserve guys. And I don't think the Coordinated Fire guys aren't coming down, but I know Poos is going to be there from Between Two Sprues. So it's going to be pretty fun, man. I'm excited to see like all the podcasters and all the listeners that we interact with and everything along those lines. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be a good week. Like hopefully we'll get some good news, but even if we don't get some good news, we get to see all the community people that we have formed friendships with over the last couple of years. It's like I just posted a picture in our Discord, like it was 2 years ago today that I interviewed Will Schick at AdeptiCon in Schaumburg. So it was like the first time we interviewed him. So that was pretty cool, and I'm really looking forward to, moving forward and doing other things and stuff like that. So pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I can't. It's really only been 2 years.
Right, right.
Oh my word! It feels
like an
longer.
eternity. I know, right?
Oh.
But yeah, no. Have you been up to anything? Like, have you been doing any hobbying, any Shatterpointing? I mean, I know we had a group of our old Magic friends over and actually did we only had 6 players, so we did a 6-person draft over at my house 2 nights ago, and that was pretty fun. Like catching up with everybody, all of our old Magic friends and stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I continue to take umbrage with the Universe Beyond sets, but you know what? They certainly know how to design a Magic set because it was fun. It had good mechanics. Mm-hmm. It felt like Magic still. None of the Universe Beyond sets feel bad per se. Like they're well designed. It's just I don't know. At least Avatar is fantasy and magic, or I guess
right.
a kind of magic, but like so like
right.
that feels right. I still just can't get over like I played the Ninja Turtle set. It's fun. It's got its own take on ninjutsu and ninjas and all of that, but like tapping a pizza token to like do something in the game just feels weird, and I know they're raking in money hand over fist for every enfranchised player who's whining like me. They've got 10 Ninja Turtle fans, forking over nearly $200 for those boxes, huh, Todd?
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I was like, that threw me off because I remember back when we were like in our heyday of playing, it was like $100 to $110 for a box, booster box, and it was like I went to go pick up the draft box. It's like, it's $170. I'm like, I got kicked square in the balls with that one, man. That was pretty rough. So.
Yep.
I'm like, man, I am glad I'm not playing this game like as frequently as I used to because the price is just went astronomically high. So, no, but I enjoyed playing. It was fun playing. I mean, yeah, the sets are weird. You got, the Marvel ones that came out. There's the 40K, the Warhammer 40,000 Commander stuff that came out. So it's just all over the place, which is wild to me.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I've just been doing hobbying because I'm trying to finish the 3 gray bottles I have before Adepticon, and I'm getting pretty close. I finished, and I remembered to put a wash on it this time. I finished the blue Weequay pirate. I guess I'll call him the guy because there's a guy and a girl Weequay in the pirate crew, and I'm like over halfway done with the red Weequay, and then my Dengar I've got to do like, it's not really highlight work. I've done like the broad base coat, but I still need to do like his belt and the cuffs he's holding and like a couple I think his boots. Like I've got to finish the base coat, and I don't know. The way my days have been going, my plan was to kind of do that today, and then I have my league game later. My league game with the captain later tonight. But we'll see if I we'll see if I get there. I might be showing up with mostly there's 3 colors on all of them. How about that? Because the broad strokes are done. They're just gonna be maybe you'll be like,
A
so
work in
why?
progress.
Yeah, why did you choose to leave all of these parts gray, Aubrey? Because I'm not done.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yep. I mean, so like I have not gotten a single game in. I'm like trying to do the finishing touches on a lot of the getting ready for AdeptiCon stuff. So packing up all of the recording equipment. I have not even packed up clothes yet. I have not. So it's like
Same.
getting all that stuff kind of ready, trying to figure out how we're going to get everything there since we're flying from our side of the country to Wisconsin and everything along those lines. So it's what can I negotiate into a carry-on versus having to check and everything like that. So it's because with us and like having to bring all of the recording equipment, it's like it turned into 2 carry-on backpacks plus checking at the C stand. It's like, holy moly, it's gonna turn into an adventure for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I got to work on the parking and figure out. Yeah, I got to do. I got to do all the same stuff. At least we got the recording. Well, you got the recording equipment ready. So, and it is also because like I'm gonna bring at least a squad. So I'm gonna go. Like my plan tonight is to go do my league game, which is kind of later in the evening because that's when he was available. And then I got to come home and move all of my Shatterpoint stuff. Well, not all, I guess, but enough of my Shatterpoint stuff from my usual carrying case, which is just like a plastic tote, into the nice travel case that I don't use as often just because it's bigger and bulkier. But the whole point is it protects the minis for travel. So I'm like, all right, we
Right.
gotta gotta do this. So that's probably the packing I'm doing tonight. We'll see what else I get to. I don't know. This is fun to talk about, huh? The two tired guys that are like, I'm like, I'm not
And I
even
took
excited about AdeptiCon yet. I'm just ready to get through the
you
day.
you won't be there until we get to you won't be excited until we get to Wisconsin anyway. It's like you got to get through all the nonsense. But yeah, I mean, I like that. I'm excited for all of the everything that's going to be happening for sure. I mean, and we'll get there. We'll see what happens with it. I mean, like that. I think I've been trying to finish up painting the original Corb set for Legion. I'm almost done with like all of the Rebels from that original core set, and then I do have the new Rebel starter set. So I'm going to probably dive into that at some point in time, but that's going to be a post Adepticon project, and I think we're going to be. At least I will be probably getting a game in with one of our friends over from our local community and what they're into. There's the Inferno guys, and who actually just started their own podcast, which is really cool. They're going to be doing I'm trying to remember the name of it. They're like Inferno. Holy, I'd have to pull up my phone. I don't know where that is right now, but like an Inferno Squad Arizona, they have their own podcast that they just had their first episode that came out and everything like that. So. And I'm pretty excited for those guys and what they're going to be doing with theirs. So, because it was interesting because they have their own group of like 5 people. I think they had 4 or 5 people on their podcast for the first episode, and it was interesting to sit there and kind of see the dynamic of having all of those people showing up and everything along those lines and doing everything. So, but yeah, it's like the Arizona. I think it's like Arizona Star Wars Legion Inferno Squad is the name of their the local group, and then they also have like a pretty good podcast that they just started. So very cool stuff for them, and I'm excited to see like the growth that they're having and everything too. But yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I'm trying to find I think I found the Facebook group at least, but I'm trying to find the podcast.
yes,
All right. Apparently we're failing right now. Hey everyone, there may
we
or may
are.
not be a podcast and it may or may not be awesome. Go find it.
Oh no, it's
If
a good
you
one. It's
can
a good
remember
one.
the name.
I will definitely find it,
I'm
and
messing
I'll probably
around. I'm
just
messing
link it. Yeah, I'll link their podcast into if you're interested in some good Legion content. I mean, they do a lot of really good tournament organization stuff. That's kind of like their big stuff. Like
Yeah.
they help out with doing stuff at the gosh, what is the name of that? It's LVO, and they do a lot of local stuff too. So it's pretty exciting to sit there and see kind of what they're doing and everything too.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, anything else going on with you?
No. I think we can jump into the main topic. Let's
Cool.
dive in.
Nice. So you wanted to do kind of an episode on just villains, and we were like trying to figure out how to kind of break this down and what you like and everything along those lines. And there's a lot of different ways, I guess, we can break this down. We were looking at doing villains by breaking it down by movies, by books, by TV shows, by era, and like which our favorite ones are and everything along those lines. So it's like so much going on here and everything like that. So it's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know, where do you want to start? I mean, did you want to start, because I think you were pretty interested in starting with like books, like either legends or canon novelizations of anything, and the villains there. And I think one of the caveats we had was we can't go with Vader because that's the low-hanging fruit. We can't go with Palpatine because that's low-hanging fruit, and everything along those lines. We wanted to kind of stay away from the low-hanging fruit and talk about like some fun villains and stuff like that that maybe are not. I mean, like I said, I think some of them are going to be pretty. Like my book one is going to be pretty low-hanging fruit, but it's just because it's so iconic. So.
Yeah, that was my thinking, because I'm like, okay, do we want to do a podcast about Daddy Vader and Palpatine, or do we want to talk about some of our favorite villains outside of them? Because I mean, come on, if you ask even a non-uber Star Wars nerd who is one of the best villains in cinema history, people are gonna say Darth Vader. Like he's gonna make the top 10 of like most iconic
Every list,
movie villains. Like
Right.
we might argue about where he is on the top 10 list, but nobody's gonna argue that he should be there. So yeah, let's skip one more episode about Darth Vader and how conflicted and complex and complicated, and how awesome James Earl Jones's voice was in bringing him to life. Like, okay, I did it for you guys. There you go. There's your Vader episode.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, no. So starting with
books,
novels, yeah.
All right, you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I mean, I can go first. Like that, mine's a little bit of low-hanging fruit anyway. But like the first Star Wars novels that were out, when we go all the way back to what's now considered legends, there was an amazing trilogy that was the original Thrawn trilogy, and I like fell back in love with that with those books when Vader came out, when Vader came out, when those books came out, and when I was reading through those, and it was a different Thrawn. Like the story that we know of canon for Thrawn is a little bit different now than it was in that original novelization, for sure. Where he was kind of like in the like outer depths of space, basically, kind of with this amazing fleet. And then when the Empire ended, he came back, because I think if I remember correctly, it's like he just like didn't realize that what had happened, and he came back. Like, at first, like it was unknown to him that the Empire fell, and he came back and was like, because there just wasn't getting communications anymore, and ended up coming back and it became this like amazing villain to like just kind of relaunch the post original trilogy era of the novelizations that they had for Star Wars, which was really cool.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact details, because I feel like they explain it, because I think they're vague about it in the actual, like Timothy Zahn's really vague about it in the original books, and then I think it's in the what is it, Spectres of the Past and Visions of the Future, where he actually explains what you're talking about. But I'm doing my reread of these, and even though I did read all three of them again, don't quote me on this, guys. This is we're talking 30-year-old lore, and like I said, I don't think it's directly stated in the actual books Todd's talking about. It's stated in
Right.
a different Zan book. Like,
Right.
I think you're right, but I don't think they tell us that. It's so
And I
silly.
could be like, and I could be merging all of it together. I mean, it's like I read pretty much all of those back then, and it's been years since I've read them. But yeah, there's a whole thing of like why he was out there, and I don't think you're right. I don't think they really addressed why he was out so far away, other than the Emperor sent him there, and then then he came back. I think it was like 5 years after like the events of episode 6, of where it really like is where this takes place, and it's like, oh, now this huge, you know. It was the Heir of the Empire was the name of the trilogy series, but it was like now the heir to the Empire, being Thrawn, came back. So it's like we didn't, and which is interesting, like when you compare him to like where he is in Star Wars media now, because he wasn't known like back like during the Rebellion era, like when the whole thing with Ezra and everything like that. He wasn't around. He was off in deep space somewhere, not doing like secret missions for the Emperor, not actually like being the general or the admiral that we know today in current canon.
Yeah. I'm trying to bring up, because I'm pretty sure you're right, because if I remember the plot of those books correctly, because this is me going literally off of 20-year-old memory, because I haven't read that duology recently. But I think what happened is Palpatine and Thrawn concocted it's almost like they stole the original story of Thrawn's story and then fed it to Imperial High Command, because they made it seem like Thrawn was getting exiled to patrol near the unknown regions because he made Palpatine angry. But really what he was doing is he was setting up Imperial bases like all through that the region outside of Chiss, like just outside of Chiss space or whatever, or outside of the unknown regions, whatever. And then because that's the thing, is like the Empire is finally on the verge of collapse, and like is about to sue for peace to finally end the war after like 20 years, because it's not like canon with the Battle of Jakku and there's just a big old dust up and that's it.
Right.
Instead they limp along for a long time. And then if I remember right, the plot of that book is somebody pretends to be Thrawn to try and take back control of all of the Empire, and then Luke and Mara Jade have to try and stop it, because even that the guys playing pretend, like they came up with a pretend Thrawn, they don't know about those bases, but Luke and Mara Jade figure out that if a quote-unquote Thrawn comes back, all of those bases are loyal not even to the Empire or the Emperor, but they are all loyal to Grand Admiral Thrawn, and it will just tip the balance of power back in the favor of the Empire in a big way. Like I think that, and that's wow. Well, okay, I think that's right. You know what? Sarah Crew's gonna yell at us later.
Yeah, but that's not for the original trilogy, because it wasn't a Thrawn. That goes to the other. Yeah, so it's because it's a lot, man. There is a lot going on with all of that. But yeah, Thrawn basically kind of just does his own thing, and it's like he ends up like rebuilding in the original trilogy, ends up like rebuilding the Navy, the Imperial Navy, to try and attack right into the heart of Coruscant again, because of course the new Republic is like always super fragile for some reason. They just could never sit there and seem to keep it together. So there's always some sort of conflict, making it to where it's like on the verge of collapse. It seems like in every novelization that you read.
Well, hey, I mean, at least he didn't just blow it up in one scene and move on and not even tell us that that's what he's blowing up. Looking at you, Disney.
Well, that wasn't Coruscant that they blew up, though. That was a whole another planet that was.
Well, no, that was I'm talking about the New Republic. The whole seat of government was on that planet. That's why they blew it up. No more New Republic. Apparently, if we blow up Washington, all of North America will explode.
Fair enough.
Based on Disney rules.
Don't say that too loud. I mean, someone might accept that challenge and see what happens. You never know.
Oh God. That's not how this works.
Oh mercy! But yeah, so that's mine. Mine was definitely the original pre Disney Thrawn in the novels from, what was it, 1991? I think Heir of the Empire came out. So like before, like some of our listeners were probably even born. I'm looking at you, Donovan. So definitely some of that. So,
Hi, Donovan. Oh, you were right. Written between 1991 and 93. Look at that, Todd. All
It's almost
right.
like I have Wikipedia up in front of me while I'm talking or something, and don't know these facts
Oh,
off the top of my head.
come on. Come on. I thought I'm trying to remember some of it. Come on. All right, moving on. Moving on.
All right, so
So
yours,
why Thrawn?
why Thrawn?
Wait.
I mean,
Now,
he's just
no, we got to ask why. Why Thrawn?
why.
Why of all the villains?
I mean, he's just. I think for me, it's like he's just always stands out because, like I said, that was the first novel, like first novels that really got me back into like the love of Star Wars. I mean, we all watched the movies and loved them and stuff like that, but then like he was that villain that kind of like brought me back into digging deeper into the lore and into Star Wars more than just watching the movies and everything along those lines. It kind of like took me farther down the rabbit hole, I guess. And it was really like it was this novelization, this trilogy of novels that really got me there. And it's like he was just, and I think this is more a credit. I don't know if it's a credit to the character or maybe a credit to Timothy Zahn. And how amazing of a fantasy / science fiction writer he is, because he really did a great job with developing this story here.
Oh yeah, and if you go outside of Thrawn's character, who is already very interesting, it's fascinating. He uses artwork to try and understand his enemies, and then uses their emotions and culture against them in strategic ways. Which I mean, we talk about how accurate or possible that is. It's a Thrawn thing. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Thrawn's just that awesome. But I mean, he introduced so many characters that like I mean, I remember little old Georgie was a little annoyed because like Talon Card, Mara Jade, even Admiral Paleon, who is now in canon too.
Right.
Like he introduced the Nogri, the little assassin guys, like Rook in Rebels, like, and
Mm-hmm.
then he introduced just so many concepts, even just like the idea of using the planetary shields like on Hoth to be like
Right.
a big part of the plot. And then he also expanded on the before we knew about the Clone Wars, he tackled the concept of the Clone Wars before we really knew what was going on there. So I mean it yeah, no notes. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Thrawn's right under Vader. You get one pass, Todd, because Thrawn's like we got Palpatine, Vader, and then like Thrawn would have been my number three. But all right,
Right.
fine,
Right.
fine.
I mean, yeah, like you did bring up. I mean, like Mara Jade kind of was a villain in this one too, in this
A
novelization,
little
because
bit.
this was before she became Mrs. Skywalker. So it's definitely a
Spoilers,
like,
Todd.
yeah, if you don't, well, you know what? It's not canon anyway, so don't worry about it. And it's what,
But
30
she
plus
wanted to
years old at
kill
this point now?
him.
Right, exactly. But it's like, I mean, come on, this novel is what, 35 years old at this point in time, for all of those people that are younger than that
Oh,
like don't even know.
it's almost as old as me. I was 4 years old when it came out. Goo goo gaga.
Yep. So definitely good times. All right, Aubrey, to you, sir. What is your novelization villain? And I probably would have stole this one from you if you didn't tell me, because it's a good one.
Yeah, no, I would have picked Thrawn if you had to pick Thrawn. So right back at you, friend. And I feel like this is like, okay, if Thrawn's number three, I'm picking number four because this is like one of everybody's like all time favorite trilogies because it's just that well written. But
Right.
I'm gonna have to go with the founder of the Rule of Two and the one who brought about the fall of the Jedi through his grand design, Darth Vane from the what is it, the Path of Destruction, or maybe that's the name of the book. Anyway, we'll just call it
That's
the
the
Darth
name of the
Bane
first
trilogy.
book. Yeah, I mean, I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's how everybody refers to it, as the Darth Bane trilogy, or I mean, because the second book in the trilogy is called The Rule of Two. I mean, that's like it kind of lets you know where the rule came from for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
so what I find what I really like about Darth Bane's story is, first off, there was this old series of games that all us aged nerds will remember, Dark Forces from back in the early 90s, or I guess maybe not early 90s, maybe mid 90s, whatever. And the plot, the first one is about like an Imperial cadet who ends up defecting, and then he helps stealing the Death Star plan. Because let's be real, Legends was the best too. There's like 3 different accounts of how the Death Star plans, quote unquote, got stolen before we got Rogue One. Like so that, and then I think they hand wave it as like, well, they stole part of the plans from this location and part of the plans from that location and part of the plans from this location, and like kind of retconned it later, and like the disc they put together was like all these missions happened. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. But that is the start of Kyle Katarn's story, but in the because he's the one who ends up defecting. But then in the second one, when he starts training, he finds out he's force sensitive, and he starts training, essentially training himself. They go to a planet called Rusan because a big battle was fought there, and like a bunch of Jedi and Sith spirits get trapped, and that the whole plot of that story is this dark Jedi, I don't remember his name, but this dark Jedi goes there to absorb all of the spirits to like he's gonna perform a ritual to make himself extremely powerful, and Kyle Katarn stops him. And so what I love about the Darth Bane trilogy is that not only does it reference it, but that battle and like the thought bomb that they eventually use is all a trap laid by Darth Bane to destroy the Brotherhood of Darkness and institute his rule of 2, because as everybody knows, the Sith were having problems with like 40 weak Sith were banding together and taking down like these two more powerful Sith, and that kept happening, and they were slowly getting weakened, and so that's why he at least that was his thought process, and that's why he institutes the rule of 2. But I'm not going to tell you much more about those books other than that connection, because if you haven't read them and if you like the Jedi, you like Sith, you like Force knowledge, a ton of what is in those books is not canon anymore, but Darth Bane himself is still canonically the one who instituted the rule of 2. We got that in Clone Wars. So this is one of those things where I'm very much like, if and when Disney finally gets around to telling some of these other stories, I am like, all right, fine, whatever. Here's the new version. But until then, if we don't have a story for it, I just use this as this is my style guide for understanding the Sith of this time period, because like he even talks about how like the Sith of his time period seem to be really powerful, but they've forgotten a ton of knowledge, and then he actually learns from another fan favorite that I didn't want to pick. Oh yeah, he'd be on the list too. All right, well, we got the top 5ers. Darth Revan, he uses Revan's holocron to learn what it means to be, quote-unquote, a true Sith. And so, but those, like, he has an apprentice. There's 3 books. I'm not going to go deep into it. It's a great read. It's a great study in, like, Force abilities and Force combat and how the Sith approached fighting the Jedi, and even like if you're confused by why Palpatine can just sit in front of the Jedi and nobody notices anything, read the Darth Bane books. Like there's reasons. There's reasons. Trust me.
Bane is like the originator, the godfather of the modern Sith as we know them. Basically, it's like what the Sith are in like Star Wars, like all of the Star Wars movies really comes from like Darth Bane, and all of the stuff that he did in these novelizations. Like he did not only like the rule of 2, but like he really kind of like reorganized the entire Sith group, I guess, like because there was a whole planet of Sith that, like, if you go way back in the Wayback Machine, that like they had a whole nation and a whole army of Sith, and like he actually like was recruited to be part of that army of Sith, and saw like all of the flaws that it was, and basically rose to power there. And that's in the first novelization, his rise to power as like the lead from being basically a guy that killed his dad working in the mines, to basically becoming the leader of the entire Sith, which is like I said, really cool novelization. You should definitely pick it up and read it if you have the time.
Yeah, and for the record, everybody, when we talk about the Jedi are corrupt and the Jedi have their failings and flaws and everything, you definitely get to see like a sort of fallen Jedi, like a guy who ran away from the Jedi Order in the series. You get to see like the Jedi are being very rigid, and like they essentially let themselves get led into this trap by Darth Bane too. It's not just the Sith that he tricks
Right.
the Jedi and kills them. So you get to see a little bit of the like. I think to quote Bane, he's like they're recruiting people younger and younger. Soon they'll just be taking children, and like so like he kind of talks about some of the flaws of like both sides and their ideologies. So if you're into that kind of thing, like it's worth the read just because it is the connective tissue to a ton of other things that happened, especially in the Legends stories.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, so let's move on to TV shows, but I want to go with separate this into two separate categories: live action and animated. So we'll start with live action.
Fine.
Well, you know what? I mean, we got time here. I mean, what else are we going to do except for talk nerd stuff? So, live action villains in a TV series. I'll go ahead and let you start with this one off. What would yours be?
Oh, come on. Chris and I are in agreement. If you're separating it into live action versus animated, I have to go with The Stranger from The Acolyte. Like
Fair enough.
full stop. Like they did. I know that show is divisive, and I have my own problems with its narrative structure. I feel like without even changing huge amounts of the plot, I feel like I could have edited that show into something that landed better. Like that's how I'm not trying to say it doesn't have flaws, but that I still stand by Leslie Headland's vision because she leaned hard into what does it mean to be seduced by the dark side, except
Right.
emphasis on seduced because what's his name,
'Cause he'd be
Manny
sexy.
Jancita. Dude, did you see that dude's arms? Come on. But he nailed the part of acting the like he pulled an evil Yoda. He
Right.
pulled an evil Yoda. He acted like he was a bumbling idiot, and then spoilers, he's the Sith. Well, not Sith, the dark side user that they're hunting. And so, I loved his character. I love the concept of that show. Sure, where there's some missteps, but I hope we. I still haven't read the prequel. There's a prequel book that's supposed to talk more about Vernestra Rowe, who's a High Republic figure. Um, I just she had. I wish they had let her cook. The first season was a little rough around the edges, but we could have had such cool stuff. And they've come out now and said that he ends up eventually founding the Knights of Ren, and I think that's an interesting nod. I hate being told instead of shown. Like, give me a comic book or something. Let me see him actually do that. But I don't know what's gonna happen there. Regardless, that was some of the best fight scenes. We got to see Cortosis in a live action. We got to see like a true Force Repulse in live action. Like boom, send everybody away. Like he had the trick lightsaber. Like come on, guys, come on. If you all had just shut up for 5 minutes about the problems, I could have gotten another Khmer fight scene. Like the lightsabers goes burr burr. That's all you need. Stop thinking that Disney's knows what they're doing.
The fight scene choreography in that was fantastic, and I think that's I focused on a lot of the positives. Yes, the writing was lacking, but the choreography of a lot of the fight scenes were fantastic, and so it's a shame that we aren't going to see where this goes to next from there. So I mean yeah, you kind of explained that. I mean I guess I'll go with mine. So for me, it's an actor by the name of Giancarlo Esposito plays an amazing Moff Gideon in the Mandalorian series. He is. I mean, he's just one of my favorite actors to begin with, and I think that it starts there with just how amazing of an actor he is, and what he does in his with his roles. I mean, he's always been a great villain, going back to like Breaking Bad and everything like that. I don't know if like you've ever watched that series, but he was like basically kind of
No.
the undercut. Like he was a he posed as like a fast food manager, but was like a big deal in like the meth distribution game. I mean, he's such a good villain wherever he plays roles at. So I think and he's fantastic in that. And I miss that, like, the ending of him, because you know what, in my mind he's not dead. They just killed his clone. Is what they did in that. So we'll see. But I mean, he plays the villain so well, so ruthless, so I wouldn't say terrifying, but I guess to some people he's terrifying. But he ruthless. He was going to sit there and get what he wanted, no matter what. And he didn't care who he stepped on, who he ground into the dirt to do it. He was just a fantastic Star Wars villain.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do. This is kind of the thing that sometimes writers will forget. Well, not always. I mean, we're doing a pretty good job out there, but your heroes are defined by your villains. If you don't have a good villain, you don't have a good backdrop. Like, anybody can go run up, knock over the bad guy and go, "Yay, we win!" and you got yourself a plot. But yeah, no, he helped sell the menace of the, I don't even know what they call themselves, the Imperial Remnant, because they don't seem to be affiliated with the beginnings of the First Order and like Project the burn thing from Battlefront 2. My brain, I'm tired, everybody, whatever. Anyway, they seem to be doing their own thing, and that's the period, like the two periods of time that I'm most interested in Disney exploring more. And to be clear, they are doing it, so I'm not saying they're not. But like with Maul Shadow Lord, we're seeing the rise of the Empire, and like the rise of the Empire is outside of like Old Republic stuff. I like that time period a lot. And then I just want to see more of like infighting with the Empire, and because like not everybody followed the orders from Battlefront 2. Operation is it just Cinder? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, and so like seeing more of the infighting, because that would be interesting for then. We know Ahsoka season 2, Thrawn's coming back, so he could do the same thing that he did in Legends. There's your callback, and bring people together. And you know what, Todd? I'm with you. You know what? Somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow Moff Gideon returned. Why not? Because he did a great job. A good villain.
Yeah, I mean, and we know that there was a ton of clones there. So I mean, like I said, they haven't explored it enough. Like, we just are getting into like Ahsoka and everything like that. But I mean, Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, there's some really cool other villains that probably like later on, like a couple more seasons of those shows, can definitely make the list for sure. I think Shin Hati, there's a lot of potential for Shin Hati to be like a fantastic villain in the live action, and see where her character definitely goes as we move into season 2 of Ahsoka. So honorable mentions there for sure for those two.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, there's a few honorable mentions. If we do too many honorable mentions, we'll be here all day. But you're right.
Right. All right. So moving into the animated stuff, animated series, television series. I mean, I have one, and I'm sure like anybody that's listened to this podcast for a while will probably know right off the bat before I even say it. Who would be yours? Or am I throwing you off because I threw a twist into this?
I didn't not think about animated technically. I feel like I should leave you with the far and above number one possible pick option, because I think everyone's number one animated pick should be the same. But if I was going to grab a different villain, because if it's villain, because my first thought, ironically, really funny, I don't think everybody realizes this, because there's a one and done book, Blink If You Miss It, and I'll be honest, it's very it's written in a very weird narrative framework, and so it's kind of hard to parse. I struggled to get through it, but the Ronin from Star Wars Visions, the first episode where he's a Sith and he's fighting another Sith, he's actually like the Sith Emperor of that universe, and he just woke up one morning and went, you know what? This kind of sucks. I don't want to be emperor anymore, and then just started killing all of his minions, and that's what he's doing running around. Like, but that book is kind of a mess. It's all over the place, but like, just spoilers. So there's my, you know what? You had an honorary mention. I'm gonna honorary mention the super cool dude that's in 2 episodes of a non-canon side project of Disney's. By the way, also the Sith Emperor, just so you know. That's why he's so cool. But
Fair enough.
Or formerly known as the Sith Emperor, whatever. But if I was gonna pick somebody,
So I don't think you know who I'm going to pick. I think you know who I'm going to pick, but so go ahead and go with what you're thinking, because I have
Wait.
2 anyway.
Fine. Okay. Excuse me. The only correct answer is Darth Maul and Lord Maul. Lord Maul,
Okay.
formerly known as Darth.
Yeah,
Like,
that wasn't
come
who I
on.
was going with.
Wait, what?
Fair enough. That's not, you said favorites, but not like the best. This is like our favorites. So yeah, mine Maul is definitely up there as far as a fantastic one, but he was not my first choice.
Okay, well, no, Todd, you don't understand. There's only one right answer for your favorite, and it's still Lord Maul. That's Dizzard.
Okay.
Dizzard will tell you. There's only one correct answer.
Okay. Well, all I'm gonna have to say, I guess, is why don't you just step aside and let me talk about Cad Bane?
Oh, that's actually who I thought your second one was. So, all right. Carry on.
Yeah. No, Cad Bane, I mean, it's just like he's a quintessential like Western villain, you know what I'm saying? And it's like they've created like he's just amazing. Like the bounty hunter villain that he is. Like he's gonna do anything to sit there and make $1, and he's the best at doing anything to make a credit in this universe. And I think that's why I just love him. He's just so willing to do anything in the name of money. He works for the Empire. He works for whoever's sitting there willing to pay him top dollar, and he will kidnap a little clone kid and take her and drop her off at basically to be a slave to the Empire and be prodded and poked. I mean, he's ruthless, man. He has the only conscience he has is the conscience of the almighty credit.
Yeah, I was a little nervous when I found out they were gonna do what was it? Tales of the Underworld. Is that the one where they give us his backstory? I would assume that's where it was.
Yeah.
Any
When he
all
was
the
just like a
tales
street
kind of
urchin. Yeah.
yeah, all the tales kind of blur together. I was worried because, like, and don't get me wrong, a more complex villain is a good thing, and giving them justifiable reasons for their actions is a good thing. I mean, but I always get nervous because, like, they very much have softened Dooku's character over the years. Dooku used to just be a ruthless, pragmatic, aristocrat Sith, and now he's like, they keep softening his character. Softening his character is kind of an example I give, and so I was worried. And nope, they just gave us Cad Bane. Like, this is how he becomes Cad
Right.
Bane, and I'm like, all right, okay, good. Like, we could just have villains who, you know, they're just villains. It's okay. Palpatine can be a jerk. He's allowed to be. He's the big baddie.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
I like
Cad,
it.
I mean, like I love Cad Bane. I mean, like, and you say like Tales of the Underworld, man. It's like he has a kid that he doesn't know about, and like you can see that he knows that that's his kid, and he still just leaves it there, just like, okay, well, whatever. I'm gonna go chase my money.
Right.
Kills the man that's basically been taking care of his kid, and like just he has no like his childhood friend, and like it just just a ruthless overall dude. I mean, like for me, my honorable mention is definitely gonna be Asajj Ventress, just because of like but that's more along the lines of her story arc, so it's like is just amazing to me. But it's because she was a villain in the animated series and kind of just becomes a different person. But yeah, no, Cad Bane's my tops for sure.
Okay. All right. So, everyone, you might have heard of a little game that everybody likes to fight about the power level of the character in it. But do you remember The Force Unleashed, Todd?
Yes, I do.
Did you play it? I'm trying to remember because you were like an
Uh,
adult then, so I don't know.
yeah, no, I did not play it, but I definitely like read about it and things along those lines. I think that was like probably came out when I was in the military for sure. So it's like definitely was too busy doing military things and stuff like that. So
Right.
I was
That's what I
drinking a
figured.
lot too.
But fair. That comes part and parcel. Come on now. But
Right.
so the Force Unleash was one of the and I don't know the history of this stuff, but it's one of the times that I noticed the early days of motion capture technology, like being used in video games specifically. Obviously, it had been used in film and other projects, but they started using it in video games to give you more realistic depictions of characters. And this was like, and I'm not good at actors or like I don't remember names or anything. Like I get them wrong all the time. I pretty much know like 10 actors total off the top of my head. But I looked at his face and I was like, wait a minute. And I'm like, this looks like a real person. Hang on. And I had to
Right.
like go look it up. And that's how I was introduced to Sam Witwer. And
Yes.
Sam Witwer sells that role of being Vader's secret apprentice. That's the plot of the story. Is Vader has a secret apprentice and does things and stuff happens. I'm not telling you the plot right now because that's I'm talking about a different character. But Sam Witwer does an excellent job of threading the needle between hero and villain because obviously you're dealing with a dark side character and he's dark side for most of the story and just kind of has a same kind of heel turn as Vader at the end of the story more or less. And Sam Witwer sells it. So then
Right.
when you start watching the Clone Wars, same thing happened. I didn't recognize the voice at first because he's trying to do like Ray Park now, and I think Ray
Hmm.
Park I think he did the motion capture. So like it was like I think it was a collab between. I could be mistaken about that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but in any event, Sam Witwer becomes Lord Maul, and they bring back Lord Maul. And I was the first one when this season started and Maul shows up. I'm like, the dude got cut in half and chucked down a reactor, like an empty pit. Like I'm like, what do you mean he's alive? Like what? What in the George Lucas is this nonsense? And then Sam Witwer delivers what I consider to be one of the best animated villain performances in a long time. Like I actually watched an interview recently where he talks about the vision for Maul because he's one of the only nerds in the room who could out nerd Filoni because
Yeah.
he would point out details and he would be like, hey, wait a minute, what about this? And they'd be like, what? Like I've never seen anyone out Filoni before. And so he made the point that yes, what we see in the movies is a silent, dark, like Sith assassin who's coming to kill the Jedi, and he doesn't say much, and he does the thing, and he goes off into the night. But he's like, Palpatine wouldn't train just a beast who just can do the flippy flips really good. I can flip real,
Right.
real good. Like Palpatine would have trained him in espionage, in navigating the galaxy and doing all of these things. And you see that a lot in there's a couple of books, Shadowhunter and I can't remember the other one. He like does a prison break or something. He's trying to kill a target in there. I don't remember. There's a few prequel books to Maul, and you get to see more of him being the like he's not just an assassin. He's a capable, intelligent, Sith agent basically,
Right.
and Sam Witwer delivers a phenomenal performance. And I mean, it culminates in the last season of Clone Wars that we almost didn't get, and I'm so glad we did, where Maul takes over Mandalore and is essentially trying to carve out this place for himself because he knows what Palpatine's about to do. He knows the whole plan, and Yeah, that's how you got me playing Mother Maul when the game first came out, because I might like the good guys and I got my little Jedi Knight hat on here, but if I had to pick a character that's super intriguing from beginning to end, if you had told me it was gonna be Maul, I would have laughed at you, because I'm like, dude, he was in one film but he got chopped in half and died, and yet they delivered.
Here we are. Yep. Indeed, indeed. All right, so let's finish this off with the movies, and you can go with any movie of the multiples that we have. Who would be your villain that you would pick to be your favorite? You know, again, like Invader and Emperor Palpatine being not on this list. Who would you have? I got one again that's probably going to throw you off, like that I really enjoyed, probably because it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Do you want me to go first?
You know, you got to go first again. I gotta think about, because I favorite and best are getting conflated in my brain, and so I gotta let me think for a sec. Let me think.
So for me, I'm going to go with Krennic, because director Krennic was so good, you know. And again, the actor really made
Good
it.
choice.
I'm going to butcher his last name, but Ben M. Basically played Krennic. I mean, and he's, again, a fantastic actor that really just brings that character to life in ways that we didn't, you know, and just the way that he, like, his desire to just be the best that he can be, and that supreme power that he wants to be, and have his accomplishments be the turning point in all of in the Star Wars universe. And they really were, but he didn't get the credit for it. But his, like I said, his ambition to just be this empire powerhouse of a leader and is just amazing. And I think that what makes him just this amazing villain, is that just that arrogance, that ambition that he has is just so fantastic.
It's funny because the one I have picked for you is actually, I feel, pretty similar to your pick, actually. But I'm gonna go with my honorable mention. I know we said no more honorable mentions, but now I'm breaking my own rules, because ask the fiance. I'm a hypocrite sometimes.
Really?
So
Would never thought.
My honorable mention is actually gonna go to Kylo Ren, because no. So I got two reasons. One, Kylo Ren is an homage to Jason Solo, Legends fan favorite character arc, because in Legends, Han and Leia has a kid who turns to the dark side. So everybody's who's like, that's so terrible, that would never happen, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, well, they already did it in Legends, so get over yourself. And Jason Solo is one of my all-time favorite characters. So I see the pieces there. I see the structure. And then here is the second thing that I like. You know what, Todd? You talked about Rosa Parks. I'm about to hurt some people. So, Todd, now I know George's intentions was actually a critique of the Vietnam War, but who does an empire with an evil emperor and stormtroopers remind you of, Todd? Why are they called stormtroopers? What little dust up happened in the 40s?
Donald Trump and ICE.
Jeez, Todd. You try to get us canceled 3 days before AdeptiCon? Oh, wait, we'll already be there. They can't cancel us. Anyway, the 40s, Todd.
Oh, wait, we're talking about the Nazis. We're talking about Nazi Germany.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, I know it's confusing because it seems to be playing out again here in the home of the...
I mean, you ask people all over the world.
The 40s, Todd, the Nazis. So
the 40s.
I said that not the 2040s.
Oh, got it. Okay, I'm sorry. I was confused for a second there.
But to carry on the theme, and I'm stealing this from like a Tumblr post. This is not an original idea, but I think it's fantastic. Kylo Ren and the First Order, what people don't seem to get, they're not just, oh, we rebranded the Empire and it's fine. No, they're neo-Nazis. They looked at what the Empire did, collected all the memorabilia in their little offices out in the Outer Rim, and then 20 years later went, what if we tried it again? And Kylo Ren is the poster boy of the little teenage edgelord who listened to the podcasts and went and got radicalized by the little neo Nazis out there, and it's a cautionary tale. Did Disney make that very clear? Anyway, so that's my honorable mention to get since we get political here at the end, but to go back to the OG, Grand Moff Tarkin.
He was my second one. Yeah, that was like he was my second one for sure.
Yeah, because what is his name? Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing in his little slippers, because
Yeah.
that's canon. He didn't wear the boots from his costume. He walked around in little slippers. He delivered a phenomenal performance. Like, is Darth Vader scary in the big bad? Absolutely. But Grand Moff Tarkin never backs down from him either. And now that we know everything we know about Vader, like, that makes him even more impressive of a character. And like, he delivers the lines well. And I love Carrie Fisher tells a story. Like, she had a lot of trouble in that scene where they finally meet. Like, he brings him on the platform to blow up Alderaan, or brings her up on the platform to blow up Alderaan. And she couldn't do that scene because she couldn't get mad at him, because I guess he was like a really nice guy, and so
Right.
she was having trouble like being angry and yelling at him in that scene, because and he's in his little slippers, and so and yet he delivers some iconic lines. Like, I would love if we got like Grand Moff Tarkin and like the Navy troopers and like maybe a Death Star laser dude gunner guy or whatever. I don't know. Or Imperial pilots. I'm trying to think of what it would be, but I would love to have a commence primary. Oh wait, is what's his name's commence primary ignition? What's Krennic's box called? I don't remember. Anyway, yo, you got it behind you. It's right. No, it's right behind you.
Deploy the garrison. Yeah, deploy the garrison.
Oh, yeah. So no, like getting a commence primary ignition box, like, come on, AMG, that would be cool. I don't know what it would do, you can figure it out. You're fine. So
Right.
that's mine.
So
Like, he's a one movie villain, but does
so
the
you
trick.
kind of stole my thunder a little. Not thunder. My closing question, because I think we can close out here and make it good. But we do have some really, I think, another lore villains episode that we in us that we can do, because there's other stuff that I wanted to kind of go down, and but we're already at an hour. I was gonna say, if you could take any Star Wars villain that is
Oh,
not in Shatterpoint and add it in, like, who would it be? And you
whoops.
went to no, that's fine. You went to Tarkin. I mean, outside of Tarkin, so would you have a B as secondary one that you would want to go with?
Oh, I mean, the problem is that there's not enough of an era to do it. But if we ever did a like High Republic era stuff, I would love to see the Stranger from Acolyte kind of thrown into the tail end, because like that's set at like the end of the High Republic era, because most of what happens in the High Republic era happens like 100 or 200 years. I don't remember the timeline, but it happens way before his time, and his time's like at the tail end. So you would need my point is I wouldn't just throw him in the game at random. You'd need to like bring in the whole High Republic era so that he has something to pair with. But that would be like done and done. I would love to do that. If I'm thinking of anybody else, it'd be funny. And again, I'm just trying to get us naval troopers or whatever. Admiral Piet with the Super Star Destroyer, like he could just do like an orbital barrage or something, kind of like Veers. But I don't know. I don't know if there's enough of a concept there.
Yeah, I mean, it's that one's rough. I think for me, I would love to see, especially because Separatists need something. There's Admiral Trench that I would love to see, but I would actually like to
Droidicas.
see. I would actually like to see Pong Krell, and find a way to just give him like a
Yeah.
separatist tag, or like he can be separatist adjacent, to sit there and do that kind of something, like where he can be either Republic. You can decide whether he's Republic or separatist at the beginning of the game, type of a thing, as because he does do separatist type of things for sure. So
Yeah.
I would that's who I would like to see, is like a Pong Krell type of a person.
Yeah, I think he should have like a very Empire coded ability. You know how Empire likes to like hurt your units to do stuff. Like I
Yeah.
think that's just a slam dunk design. Like if he's separatist or Republic, he would not be a kind commander to his troops. So and
Right.
you could show that.
Definitely, without a doubt. So yeah, I mean, but that's I think we wanted to do something a little different. I mean, we unfortunately haven't had a box release in going on 7, almost 8 months now. So like we kind of are grasping at straws a little bit to talk about Star Wars stuff. And like I said, I think we're more leaning into being a Star Wars podcast with a focus on Shatterpoint, but it just until we have more to talk about. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think we'll get some stuff from hopefully from AdeptiCon to kind of bridge the gap of what we've been doing
Yeah.
in Star Wars and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see where. What next week brings us really, because it's Sunday now before Adepticon, so it'll be exciting to see what happens. I'm excited to get out there and set up and see all the wonderful people and everything along those lines. So, but yeah, I think that's a good place to kind of close out for this episode. Do you have any closing thoughts yourself there, Mr. Aubrey?
Don't read Planet of Twilight. It's not worth it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening and tuning in to us. We do appreciate each and every one of our listeners and all of our patrons and all of the support that you guys continue to give us through the hard times that we're going through in the Shatterpoint world and everything along those lines. But we're excited to sit there and bring you some exclusive Shatterpoint content over there at Adepticon and Stream Worlds for you. And again, we're going to have
come say
a team
hi.
event on too. Yeah. If you're at Adepticon, swing by, say hi. We're always happy to sit there and hang out. I'm usually standing there behind a camera, but as long as I'm not like the camera's not recording, I'm always willing to say hi. We always do our meetups with Rogue Support also at the Third Street Market, so definitely swing by and say hi. Have a drink or have something to eat with us. We always like just hanging out and talking and Star Wars, Shatterpoint, all the good stuff like that. So definitely appreciate all you guys and everything that all the support you guys continue to give us. But other than that, as always, try and strike someone down with a lightsaber because it's really fun. What happens?
If you only knew the power of the dark side.